Hello everyone, this is SecretDoorGaming, and I'm playing another indie game or itch game called Space Cat Boyfriend. Woo! I just wanted to really say that, and yeah, I doesn't seem this game is very kind of unpolished. As you can tell, there's no music or anything. But the drawings are really cute, and it's got kitty cats in it and space, and yeah, you're dating a cat boyfriend. So I just had to play it just for that reason alone. And I'm gonna go and just jump right into it, or fly right into it. Let's pick a name. My birthday? Why do you want to know my birthday? Oh. Hmm. Which avatar do you prefer? Oh, look at them. I like the left one. Her hair's kind of funky though. I admit it. I'm a crazy cat lady. I know that feeling. Throughout my whole life, I've been obsessed with cats. Fluffy ones, tiny ones wearing hats and bow ties. You name it, I love them. I love them too. From their teeny little pink paws to their adorable meows. Oh, I just want to hug and squish them against my face. Yes, I'm like that too. Although, recently my adoration, if somewhat obsession, of the feline species has gotten me into quite the predicament. Like the disaster that was today. As in, my boyfriend of 6 years dumped me because he thinks I love cats more than him. Well, it's true, you know. It's not like that at all, honest. I mean, I really, truly love cats, but more than people? Well, most cats are basically better than people, at least on a cuteness factor. That is true. But you know, there are certain people that can change that. But on the other hand, cats just understand me like no human could. Yeah, my cat's kind of a little jerk, you know, especially at 2 a.m. in the morning. Wait! Hold on! I'm rambling again. I should really stop doing that. I am rambling. Let's rewind for a minute. Oh, look at me, I'm so cute. It was just afternoon when Caleb stopped by my house. He had promised to spend the whole day with me. Oh, look at Caleb, he does look kind of like a cat. He's very furry. After all, it is my birthday. We had a trip to the local art gallery planned. Ooh, boring. I'd rather go to, like, I don't know, a garden store, which currently had an exhibit by Molfons Mucci of Art Nouveau, famous low cats. The flyer that piqued my interest stated it was to be a perfect blend of internet memes and imagination. Well, maybe I would go to that. Then we're going to go out for a nice dinner at my favorite restaurant, followed up with a romantic moonlight stroll on the waterfront. That does sound pretty good. If only it had turned out that way, she gets abducted by space cats. When Caleb showed up with a bundle of lilies tucked in his arms, lilies aren't my favorite, Caleb, he presented them to me with a grin on his face. I took them in my hands and I instantly frowned. The sentiment was wonderful and the flowers themselves were positively gorgeous. I'd rather have them like pussy willows. Get it, pussy willows? But I couldn't just gloss over the fact that everyone knows that lilies are extremely poisonous to cats. Yes, they are. To make matters worse, my sweet, adorable house cat, Caesar, has the worst habit of eating every single flower under the sun. And Caleb knows this. Ooh, he's a dead man. I couldn't help but get frustrated, and I told him so. Celine, oh, look at my face. Caleb, you know Caesar is going to die if I bring these inside, right? You dirty bugger. Stop being so dramatic, Celine. He's just a cat. A little pollen's not going to make him sneeze to death. Ooh, you jerk. He let out a boisterous laugh which only amplified my ear. No, you don't understand. If he even takes one bite, he could die. Die as this relationship has done now. I continued rambling about the physiological effects of the toxicity in a heated manner. I'd slap him with the lilies. Oh, like he cares. There was a long silence after that. Oh, yeah, any man that doesn't love my pussy is dead. He's out the door. We both looked away awkwardly in hopes that the other would say something. I stood defiant, however, not backing down. I could tell he was disappointed. He had the same disheartened frown he always gets when he's upset. Another moment of pure quiet passed before his lips quivered in anger. Celine, you could have at least said thank you. I spent all morning picking out the perfect flowers, and all you care about is your damn cat. Ugh, you are a slime, scumbag. Scum of the earth. Admittedly, Caleb and I had been floating on treacherous waters lately. Every little thing became an argument, and there were more tears and smiles lately. This time must have been the last straw, though. He stole the flowers back from grasp. I would have hit him with them over the head. If you don't want them, I'll find someone else who does. We are through. Good. Take your damn lilies and get out of my house. Without hesitation, he slammed the door in my face. Rrr! What? I looked so shocked. He's not worth it, girlie. He's a cat killer. My mouth stood agape. I couldn't even form words. As quickly as he had arrived, he was gone. What a jerk. Just like that. You're better off. And now I'm here. Oh, don't be sad. You have your pussycat. All alone. No, you're not. You have your kitty. With no one to celebrate my birthday with. Yes, your pussycat. Except Caesar. But that cat is more content taking a nap in my underwear drawer than cheering me up. I've been trying to think of something to do to take my mind off the whole thing, but it seems that my preference is to mope around and stare out my window longingly. There has to be something I can do. Let's see, I could. You should buy a cake for yourself. A cake and grab a spoon and eat the whole cake. That's what I would do. Continue to mope. Flip through the newest issue of Cats Before Flowers. Listen to some tunes. You should listen to some tunes, girl. I was already sitting on the computer surfing all my social media outlets anyways. I pulled up my Me Tunes and pressed play. Immediately skipped to some sappy love song. Uh-oh. Ugh, really? Why must you torment me, cruel internet streaming music service? I rolled my eyes and scrolled through my musical collection. I was just about to stop on Nitty Gritty Lace, a rocking but good breakup song, when I heard a strange noise from outside. It started as a quiet whirr, like something was soaring across the sky. I was trying to make like a purring sound. It got louder, getting ever closer. Look at my eyes, I'm so excited. I'm like, aliens! Then I heard a series of beep, beep, whoosh, whoosh. I get at the crescendo is a huge crash. Branches snapped up, upturned earth, and metal scraping against metal. The whole house shook with force. How exciting. I jumped right out of my skin. It was downright terrifying. That wouldn't be terrifying, I'd be excited. What the? I managed to sputter as I stood up. Half of me wanted to explore the crash sounds from inside, while the other half just wanted to curl up and hide. Curl up and hide in your underwear drawer like Caesar. Curl up and hide. I'm not one to hide. I like to explore. Danger, danger, danger. What I saw before me, it was incredible. Look, I'm excited and happy. Crazy hair. There was a spaceship, and it had crash landed in my backyard. My hands raised to my mouth as I gasped in excitement. Ooh! I'm gonna be an internet star. It was about twice the size of my house. As I looked up, my mouth dropped open. I need to get the tinfoil out, wrap it around my head. The metallic hull soaked in the setting sun rays, making it glimmer like a brilliant orange. I couldn't tell the front of the thing from the back because it was completely circular, well, except for that part that smashed against a tree. There were lights beaming off of the surface of the ship. Blues, reds, greens, each flashing in a different pattern. I had no idea what it meant. Suddenly, I heard the release of pressure, and smoke started billowing from the ship. I took a step back as the smoke billowed into the air. Then the sound of a latch unfastening, and I saw a slit in the side of the ship start to slide open. I just knew there were going to be aliens on the other side of that door. I was about to be their first point of contact with the human species. More importantly, I was going to be the first human to make contact with an alien species. Girl, get out your cat ears. A million questions flooded my mind. What if they kill me? Would they be humanoid? Had I watched enough Star Trek to prepare myself for this? Star Trek. Finally, the door fully opened and the smoke cleared. 4 small cats in spacesuits sat before me. Ooh, this is the best day of my life. My look of shock quickly morphed into excitement as I glanced over the felines. We've come in peace. There was... Oh... big fluffy orange tabby, a sleek slender Siamese, an adorable grey and white Scottish fold, a regal tan Abyssinian, big fluffy orange tabby, the more to love. Or what about the regal? He sounds kind of hot. Oh God. I'm betting the sleek slender is going to be kind of like snobby. And then the adorable gray and white Scottish fold is going to be so darky and, kind of childlike. And then the big, flat, fluffy orange tabby is going to be like, hello, so friendly and happy. And the regal tan is going to be hot. I'm getting too excited over this, folks. There's something wrong with me, terribly wrong with me. I just love cats too much, okay? Just give me a moment here. Oh. Okay, let's do the regal tan. Oh my gosh! Oh, look at him. He does look perfect. The regal looking tan Abyssinian sat there, I hope I said that right, staring at me, analyzing me, his lavender eyes piercing into my own lavender. I didn't even know cats could have purple eyes. He cocked his head slightly, not saying anything. I tilted my head in return, not sure exactly what to say or do. Oh, look at my eyes. I'm like, hello, I'm in love. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he blinked and opened his mouth. I'm George. And you? I stood there dumbfounded. I'm going to have to play this game and play all of them, all the pussycats, boyfriends. I'm going to have to do that after. I'm going to be up all night. Anyways, a cat just spoke to me. Not just any cat, mind you. Oh, a cat wearing a spacesuit. Oh, that's the best kind. They're so cute when you dress them up. A space cat. Ronnie just calibrated these this morning. There is no way these aren't working. Try to do like, I don't know, like maybe like a Spock voice or something, or Captain Kirk, or oh, I do a Captain Kirk kind of voice with a cat. The Abyssinian, who called himself George, began fiddling with the little badge on his suit and removed it from his uniform. I wonder if he's the captain. From his pocket, he took out a small device with a huge display screen. I could see little squiggly lines on it, but I couldn't make out the language written on it. George brought his badge up to the device and scanned it. What are you doing? Oh? Look at his ears. You can talk. I can understand you. I knew the comm badges weren't broken. As for this machine, we merely call it a communicat. I'm trying to do the Captain Kirk. It has over 743 functions. However, we mainly use it for collecting data about alien life forms, flora and fauna. Oh, maybe he was more like a Spock kind of cat. He turned the communicat towards me and pawed at a button on the device. I wonder if the adorable Scottish one would be like the mechanic from like Star Trek. I'm not a doctor, I'm an engineer. A shiny yellow light glowed all around me for a couple seconds before it faded away. And the cute, adorable one would be like maybe Captain Kirk. Maybe the fluffy orange cat would be like the doctor. George read from the communicat. Species, human, a bipedal hominid, omnivores. More like, yeah. Planet Earth, 71% surface, is water, 29% land. Beyond that, our intelligence on the matter is very limited. However, there is one other thing I can confirm. The female specimen that stands before us is extremely attractive. Oh, wow. Ooh, George, you're making me, blush. I swear. I just saw George wink at me. Do cats wink? I felt a blush creep across my cheeks. I think my whole body would turn red. Now, that's enough, Archibald. Oh, look, he's got like hair across his face. Oh, look at the Scottish fold. He's so cute. Taco. Yeah, you're going to scare her off with all your smarts. Oh, he's a smart cat. Ronnie. Oh my goodness, that's the tabby. We don't even know her name. I pointed to myself. It's Celine. I'm sorry about George. He's our science officer and sometimes nurse when we need one. Oh, he's the doctor and the science officer. He can get carried away when meeting new species. Archibald, look at your hair. No worries. I'm so happy I could die. I'm Archibald, the captain of this motley crew. Oh, you're the captain. Hey, we're not motley. As Archibald was introducing himself to me, George slunk around behind the Scottish fold. He poked him in the shoulder with his paw. He's Taco. Taco brushed his crewmate off his shoulder and stepped away from him. A pleasure. Did I hear that correctly? You're Taco? Taco Cat? Yes, that is my name. I don't know why you think it's so funny. Did you know that Taco Cat is a palindrome? Yes, Taco Cat is Taco Cat backwards. I know. I couldn't even respond. Be nice to the lady, Taco. She doesn't need to put off by your horrid temper. So there was George, Archibald, Taco, and yet I knew nothing of the fluffy orange cat. Before I could even say anything, he read my mind. Oh, he's so cute. Look at him, he's so fuzzy. I'm Ronnie, by the way. I'm the chief engineer on the UFS Panthera. That's the big ship crashed behind us. I let out a laugh. Well, it's very nice to meet you all. That's great and all, Ronnie, but your humor doesn't help us get Panthera up and running again. We cannot delay. Ronnie took out his communicat and brought it close to the site of the crash. He waved the device over the giant dent on the ship's surface. Captain, I'm scanning the damage done to the hull. It's not too severely damaged. I'll also have to do a full diagnostic check on the engines. I can start repairs within the hour. Good, make it so. What's with that hair, Cat? We can't forget about our mission either, Captain. We must find out where the crew of the UFS Leo have ended up. Leo. There's another one? Oh my goodness. That's correct. I must gather as much information as I can on Earth. There are hundreds of samples to collect, and there is so much to learn about these humans. Ooh, you can learn about me. As they continued discussing internal matters between themselves, I took the moment to collect my thoughts. I couldn't believe what was happening, and I pinched myself to make sure I wasn't dreaming. Nope. Totally wasn't dreaming. All at once, without so much as a peep, I felt my own cat brush up against my leg. Apparently the commotion was enough to wake him from his catnap, and he graced us with his presence. Caesar began purring loudly as he circled between my legs. I bent down to pick him up, and he let out a mighty meow. Caesar, oh look at Caesar's fluffy. In a complete stupor, all four space cats turned around at the sound. They looked directly at Caesar. What was that? Don't be so rude, Taco. He's obviously a cat, just like us. Is he, though? There is something different about him. I can't quite place my paw on it. What's wrong with him? Taco had taken a keen interest in the faults of my cat. In fact, they all had. They stared at him like he was some sort of alien. They were the aliens, not my sweet little kitty. Meow. This is Caesar. He's my cat. Your cat? You enslaved him. No. Phrasing. What I mean to say, he's my very best friend. Caesar jumped down from my arms. He smelled the air, opened his mouth, and pranced over to the space cats. Caesar was always a curious kitten. He went up to Ronnie and sniffed him. He looked back towards me for my approval. I nodded, and Caesar promptly had buttoned Ronnie on the side. While Caesar was preoccupied, George creeped over to him and pulled out another communicat. It began clicking and beeping, and little lights were flashing. Interesting. Very, very interesting. What is it, George? He can't talk. What do you mean he can't talk? Simple, Captain. He's lost his voice. Cats can't talk, Earth cats can't talk. They meow. Logically, that doesn't make any sense, Celine. Caesar has the same genetic makeup and cellular structure as all of us. We are the exact same species. He's one of us. Oh, Ronnie, you're cute. I just want to squish you. Squish your little paws. This is great news. He might be able to help us find the crew of the UFS Leo. All this was very hard to understand. I'm confused. What does this all mean? I'm losing my mind. Our mission. That's why we are here, Celine. You see, we are from a planet called Valeria. It's thousands of light years away, and it's entirely populated with cats. Oh my God, my heaven. A few years ago, Valeria sent out an exploration ship bound for the Milky Way. That ship was the UFS Leo, and it held 20 of our dear colleagues. We all trained together in Space Cat Academy. Oh, there's lots of boxes. However, it's been years since we've heard any news from them. Oh, they'd probably be, maybe Caesar is one of them. We received one log from when they landed here. After that, nothing. Everyone back on Valeria thinks they're dead. Oh no. But the four of us banded together, boarded our own ship, and set off to Earth, determined to find our feline friends. We will find them, Celine. I don't think I was any less confused. None of this was making any sense. But that still doesn't explain how Caesar is related to you. Maybe Calvin and Domino finally had kittens. Ooh. Those two are always sneaking off together. Caesar could be their baby. I don't understand. This is getting weirder and weirder. Cats have been on this planet for thousands of years. There are literally hundreds of millions of cats on Earth. Hundreds of millions? That's nigh impossible. The Leo left 3 years ago, and at that time when they landed, cats did not exist on Earth. If 20 felines became hundreds of millions of cats, then that means, in your timeline, that would mean they landed here roughly 4,000 years ago. So that means dead. They are all dead. All our hard work was for naught. Poor Archibald, Ronnie, George, and Taco. They all looked devastated as the reality sunk in. I could only imagine the sorrow they were feeling. To travel so far, on wings of hope, only to end up alone, in a world that doesn't understand you. Just thinking about their pain made me reflect on my own dismal feelings. Soon we were all standing around, conversing in self-pity and sorrow. Boundless silence suffocated every edge of my backyard. So when you need to get the catnip out. It wasn't until Caesar reminded us of his presence that we all snapped out of it. Meow. I looked down at him and smiled. I'm so sorry for your loss. Truly, my heart bleeds for you. I've just lost someone dear to me too, so on some level I can empathize with your pain. As I began to talk, the space cats all slowly lifted their heads towards me. But if there's a single happy thing that came from all this, it's that your friend's sacrifice have brought joy to the entire planet. People of all colors, shapes, and sizes love cats. They are all an integral part of our culture, even worshipped by some. Without your companion's brave journey, we would have never known the absolute bliss that is having a cat friend in your life. Myself included. Their frowns gradually curled into smiles, and I saw glimmers of hope in their eyes again. Celine, can this all be true? Oh, look at him. He's like a gritty cowboy cat, kinda. Yep. That's amazing. I'm so happy. Now there are even more cats in the universe. I doubt half of them are as cute as I am, though. Oh, look, he's sticking out his tongue. Oh my goodness, he's so cute. I just want to kiss him. Oh, I gotta stop. I'm getting carried away here. I'm starting to hyperventilate. To think our species have come this far and influenced so many. Fascinating. He's like seductive cat. My crew. It seems we found our answers, unfortunate as they are. We must report what we found. No doubt Space Cat Command is eagerly awaiting our response. Celine, I am grateful for all you've done for us. You are the very best in the whole universe. Oh, look at you, Ronnie. I'm so happy. For a human, you ain't half bad. In the hundreds of galaxies we've traveled through, I've never met someone as dashing as you. Any cat would be proud to call you their friend. Aw. My cheeks reddened and I could feel my face getting hot as they all complimented me. I didn't deserve such kind words. Thank you. Archibald nodded to me once more before he turned to face his crew. Ronnie, get those main engines back online. George, you have a few hours to collect as much information as possible. Taco, make sure you don't crash on our way home. Aye, aye, Captain. As they began hurrying back to their ship, my heart sank. They had just arrived, a relatively alien life form, and now they were going to leave me. Just like Caleb left me. Just like my family left me. Aww. Just like everyone leaves me. Aww. I couldn't let them go. Not like this. I mustered up enough courage. No. Wait. Stop. They all halted in their tracks and turned around, inquisitive looks on their faces. Tears began welling up in the corners of my eyes, and I tried desperately to blink them away. The emotions were overwhelming. I let the tears slide down my cheeks and crash to the ground beneath. Celine, what's the matter? I wiped my eyes in an effort to subdue the tears. My words muffled by sobs, but I tried to explain. I'm sorry. I'm not normally like this. I've just had an awful day, that's all. I told them the whole story. About me, about Caleb. I'm alone with only Caesar. And worst of all, it's my birthday. I collapsed to the ground, sitting in a clump of sadness. That's just horrible, Celine. Without asking for anything, all four of them walked up to me. They laid their paws on me comfortingly. Aww. I immediately felt at ease. Take me with you, cats. Caesar even came over and nuzzled my arm, and he's normally a butt when I'm sad. Eventually I stopped crying and managed a small smirk. Thank you all for being so sweet. I'm sorry to have kept you from returning home. I know how important it is being among the people you love and care about. I noticed a spark of mischief cross Ronnie's face. Ooh, Ronnie. You know, it's going to take at least a few hours to fix Panthera. Yes? What are you scheming, Ronnie? We could treat Celine to a birthday gift. Aw, you cute little kitties. That's actually a great idea. It's the least we can do to show our thanks. We could take her to the moon. Oh, look at Celine. She's so happy. Really? Oh my goodness. The moon? I guess we could use one of the escape shuttles. Those weren't damaged in the crash. I could also manipulate our communicats to give Caesar back his original voice. My cat's gonna talk. Oh my goodness. I would be able to talk to him like you have been with us. Yes. The choice is yours and yours alone. I want to. Oh no, I can only choose either one or the other. What? I can only communicate with my cat or go to the friggin' moon. Well, I really want to go to the friggin' moon. But is that being selfish when my cat maybe has things to say to me? Maybe he might just tell me off. Like cats, like, tell you off. Owner, you've been a little bit of a jerk. You don't feed me the best food and, you pet me too much. Go to the frickin' moon. Let's go to the frickin' moon. I want to go to the moon. I mean, how could I not? This is once in a lifetime opportunity. Very well. However, Platheria can't fix itself. I can only let one of you go with Celine. And since you are the one with the birthday, you may choose who to take. Oh. I choose. Let's go with George. I like you, George. Oh? I can't wait to have some time alone with such a beauty. Ooh, you're so seductive, George. Go on. Have some fun while you still can. I nodded eagerly as George merely blinked in acceptance. I couldn't believe any of this was really happening. I mean, none of it was even the slightest bit fathomable. George strolled off towards Panthera and I followed. I had to duck my head slightly to get through the main entrance. Once inside, I let my eyes adjust to the darkness. Welcome to Panthera. As you can see, this is a highly advanced ship. With this, we are able to explore the furthest reaches of the universe and access multiple planets. How exciting. I was dumbstruck. It was like right out of my favorite space game, Star Pilgrimage. In front of me, there was a huge view screen where presently it showed the tree Taco crashed into. In the center of the circular room was what I assumed was the captain's chair. It was a small circular pillow, an indentation where he sat still present in the fluffy seat. Fluffy! There were several other stations in the main area for each of the respectable crew to do their business. I gasped at how awesome everything was. This was a real-life spaceship. And of course, everything was cat-sized. I felt like a giant looking down at their tiny little computer monitors and interactive consoles. Luckily, the ceilings were high enough for me to stand up straight. Cats love them tall spaces. Follow me. George led me down a long corridor. The hall shimmered from the metallic glow of the walls, and every time we passed a door, it whooshed open. Whooshed open. I like saying that. Whooshed. I snuck peeks into all the rooms we crossed, a mess hall, a recreational room, and living quarters. I wondered which one was George's and what kinds of things he kept there. Did he indulge in catnip binges like normal cats? What kind of snacks did he eat? Does he sleep curled tightly in a ball? And here we are here. You look lost in thought, Celine. Oh my goodness, this is so like crazy weird, but it's romantic in a strange, weird way. Were you perhaps thinking about me? Oh, look at his eyes. He's a seductive one. Sexy George. Sexy pussycat. About my likes? Oh my dislikes? You're a lady killer, George. It was as if George read my mind. I was never good at disguising my emotions anyway. Look at my face. Ah, you got me, kitty. I blushed feverishly, trying to think of something to change the subject. I was just thinking about how exciting this all is. Yes, it is rather exciting. Come, there was so much to show you. George led the way to a small shuttlecraft embedded in the side of the ship. It was shaped like an egg and couldn't have been any larger than the size of my closet. George pushed a code into the keypad on the wall and the door to the egg slid open. I ducked down and followed him in. Normally these function as our skate pods, but today we'll use it to travel to the moon. I was overly thrilled. Over the moon. As gracefully as I could, I crawled into the seat. It was surprisingly cushy like cats. These space cats certainly didn't skimp on the comfort of the skate pod. Granted, it was a little cramped, with really only enough room for me to sit down. In front of me sat the control panel with switches, buttons, and touchscreen galore. Oh, and I bet he's going to sit on my lap, because there's no room for him anywhere else. I dare not touch anything. The entire top of the egg ship was glass and I could see all around. Oh, that's so cool. You're going to see the whole thing all around you as you go up to the moon. You're going to see the universe. Once I was situated, George jumped onto my shoulder. What a pleasant view from up here. In the reflection of the glass, I could see a smirk crawl across his conniving face. He's so cute. I saw him steal a glance at my chest even. Oh, what? Cats don't. Oh, this has been such a weird. Oh my goodness, I'm getting such a kick out of this visual novel. It's so strange and bizarre. Cats coming onto humans. Oh, this is weird. George! Look at her eyes. Oh my goodness. Oh, don't be so rude. Rude? I was merely admiring your physique. Aw, it's so strange that humans walk on only 2 legs and no tail for balance. It's intriguing. Enticing, even. What? George was a hopeless flirt, but I wasn't going to let him win this game. That's not all we are good at. I winked at him, which caught his interest. Oh my goodness, look at his ears. Oh. Yeah. We can also do this. I picked him up off my shoulder and lifted him into the air. He began flailing his paws towards me, trying to escape my grasp. I smirked up at him. Celine, put me down. This is embarrassing. Rude, even? Highly. We're even now? Indeed, we are. I nodded and gently placed him on the armrest beside me. He brushed himself off and then looked at me in the eye before we both burst out in laughter. George gracefully moved from the armrest to the control panel. He flipped a few switches and pawed at the touchscreen. Pawed. You can see his little paws like paw, 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 paw. I put in our coordinates and we are set for liftoff. Celine, do you see that big button to your right? How could I miss it? It was huge, bright, pink, flashing. Yep. If you would be so kind to push it. It will launch us straight to the moon. I nodded in excitement. The ride of your life. Not only was I going to go to the moon, but I was going to be the only one going to make it happen. My birthday was starting to look up. Gladly. I slammed my open paw down atop the button. The whole egg started rumbling for a few seconds before we were shot out from Panthera at a ridiculous speed. Oh my goodness. Like a rocket, we traveled up through the atmosphere and into the never-ending space. I watched as my house shrunk into nothingness, then my town, my state, country, until I was looking down at Earth in all its glory. After the initial thrust, we slowed down to a cruising pace. I took in the entire scene and it was fantastic. The stillness and beauty of space surrounded us. I could see billions of stars and constellations. It's beautiful. George, it's just so beautiful. Not nearly as beautiful as you, Celine. Before I could react, he continued. I must admit, you have changed all of our lives. We came here for the truth, and you helped us find that. I've searched the whole universe for new and interesting species. It's my passion to study and learn. And honestly, I've never been more thrilled than to study you. He sat across from me on the control panel, his purple eyes focused on mine. He leaned in close, not breaking eye contact. But, George? Suddenly a beeping from the console interrupted the tension. He blinked and turned his attention back to the console. We are mere moments away, Celine. Prepare to land. I was so consumed in my flirting with George that I hadn't even realized how close we had gotten to the moon. The pod shook slightly as we got ever closer to the moon's surface. 3 little legs protruded from the egg and bent in a fluid motion to absorb the impact as we landed. Welcome to the moon. George hopped off the console and squirmed his way behind the control chair. He opened a small hatch and pulled out a spacesuit. It exactly like the one George was wearing, even had space for a tail sewed on. Ooh. I can see your look of disbelief, Celine. The microfibers in the suit are meant to accommodate the shape and size of the cat, or rather the human that wears it. It's the newest technological advance in space attire. How cool is that? Trust me. I hesitantly took it from George, not exactly sure how this was going to work. I slipped my legs in first, and strangely, it fit! The fabric expanded and pulled until it hugged my body. It wasn't too tight nor too loose. Not to mention it was quite fashionable for a spacesuit. Once I had it on, George handed me a helmet. I placed it over my head and he helped me connect it to the rest of the suit before putting on his own. Perfection. Now we can take a stroll on the moon. George flipped a switch on the control panel and the top of the egg popped off. I watched George delicately jump out of the shuttle and gently land on all 4 of his paws. Me, I will like fall down the hatch and onto the moon. I'm like, oh, I made it. Don't be shy now. Stepping to the edge of the egg, I teetered precariously on the metal lip. I swallowed once before taking the leap. The rush of zero gravity instantly took me by surprise as I floated towards George. I wasn't nearly as graceful as George, kind of belly flopped, but I eventually made it to the surface. Funny, I always imagined the moon's surface to be harder. There was a subtle softness to the ground, like the sinking your feet into the sand at the beach. I recalled astronauts' pictures of the moons, always portraying it as dead, desolate, empty. But now I could see all the things I had missed before. It was full of life. The energy surrounding us was invigorating. Each ancient crater held a lifelong story I wanted to unfold. This way. Ooh, George knows the moon. George strode over to a crater that was almost 100 meters away. He placed a small box on the ground. I cocked my head to side, pondering what he was doing. I watched as he fiddled with the box for a moment before a huge bubble emerged from the tiny cube. It enclosed the crater entirely, shimmering slightly as it reflected the light from the stars. How cool is that? George motioned for me to come over. I compelled and made my way closer to him. Upon reaching the bubble, I brought my hand up to it, trying to feel it. My hand slipped right through. George had to explain. It's an artificial atmospheric replicator. How cool is that? It produces oxygen for us to breathe, heat for us to stay warm, and lowers the stress of the gravity on our bodies. It also provides us protection from the harsh elements that surround us. Sounded reasonable enough, so I stepped inside. A surge of energy passed through my body as I could feel the pressure within the bubble instantly change. Removing my helmet, I took in a deep breath. It smelled of charred cedar and sandalwood, musky and strong. I let the scent take me over before realizing that I was the first human to indulge in the aromas of the moon. Delightful. Ooh, George. He likes to scent musky. It's just so captivating watching you experience the moon for the first time. It makes me want to relive the first time I encountered a never before known alien race. Did you flirt with that one too? Not at all. It was a species of gelatinous cubes. Safe to say they did not reciprocate my advances. George winked at me and we laughed together. Our amusement was suddenly interrupted by a momentous grumbling from my stomach. I realized I hadn't eaten anything all day and I was starving. Why didn't you inform me of your hunger? May I satiate? Ooh, Yes, I'm famished. Not you. I don't want to eat you, though. I don't think you... Oh, I know exactly what you meant, George. I'm not going to eat you. But seriously, I'm hungry. We both smiled at each other. In that case, have you ever drunk a moon milkshake? No. A moon milkshake? Is that even real? Of course it is. I can make anything real for you, Celine. I would never lie to you. It's common knowledge that every moon on every planet has moon milk. Moon milk? Do they have like moon cows or something? Moon cows? Get it? Moon cows. Oh, I'm just having too much fun from this. And from that we can make milkshakes from. I shook my head in confusion. But Earth's moon has no life, George. George tests me as he began searching the encapsulated ground. He picked up various rocks, knocked on them with his paws, and shook them next to his ears. He tested several of them before he found a suitable one. He brought it over to me. A flawless moon rock for the flawless human. He placed the rock in my hands. There was a decent weight to it, but not as heavy as I expected it to be. All you need now is to shake it. Shake it? That's what I said. The moon milk is safely hidden within the moon rocks themselves. You must shake them to make the milk all frothy. Slowly I began to shake it. I could feel the weight within the rock shift under the force of the movement. A look of shock spread across my face, and George just smiled at my surprise. Put some muscle into it, Celine. I shook the rock as fast as I could. George and I took turns shaking it as we passed it back and forth. As ridiculous as it was, we were chuckling and dancing and shaking this rock. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't having a blast. I think you've shaken it to perfection. Taking the rock back from my hands, he put it up to his ears and listened to it one more time. He nodded to me and then hit the rock on the ground. He tapped it on the surface like one does to eggs on the side of a pan, and like an egg, he gently cracked it open. He handed me one half of the rock and I peered in. There was a dense liquid pooled in the bottom of the rock. It was an ashen gray like the moon rock itself. I prefer mine shaken, not stirred. We clunked both our rocks together in a toast before I brought it to my lips. I was about to take a sip when George interrupted me. It's missing something. George flipped open his communicat and fervently began typing away. Without hesitation, he stuck it towards the sky and shot a little laser into space above. At the exact same time, a shooting star soared overhead. The star's trail glittered a mix of yellows and oranges as it traveled through space. The laser collided with the shooting star right over us and exploded in a bright burst. I gasped as thousands of sprinkles fell down upon each a brilliant hue of orangey pink and yellowish coral. It was magical, and I couldn't help but smile wildly. We call these star sprinkles. Hold out your rocks to catch them. They are completely edible. What? That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I replied with a twirl, catching as many star sprinkles as I could. It only lasted for a short while before all the specks of the star had fallen and once again the sky was clear. But I looked down into my drink and all the glory and glow from the star shower was illuminating in my half of the rock. It's the final touch to any moon milkshake. This time, without hesitation, I put the rock to my mouth and took a big sip. George followed suit. It reminded me of a chocolate malt shake, but the taste was surprisingly more sweet and rich. Ah, so yummy! I bet you taste just as yummy. What? George! Did you just say that? I shook my head, ignoring him. Oh my goodness. After all that excitement, I wanted to take a moment. I sat down on the moon's surface and looked up. Earth was straight ahead, a beautiful image of blue and white. Stars twinkled all around my home planet, taking my breath away. George silently came over and sat right next to me. We both looked up to the stars as he rested his head on my side. Aww. I thought he was going to rest his head on my lap. It's It's amazing how magnificent space is. It's what's drawn me here to this moment. To you. What? George, you're going really fast, George Cat. George jumped into my lap, stood on his hind legs, and stared deeply into my eyes. Oh, wow. He's really like... He goes fast. He moves fast for a cat. Cat boyfriend. He leaned in and kissed me on the lips, his whiskers tickling my cheeks. Oh my goodness. He's like so forward. I blushed violently, my heart rate increasing, and I felt butterflies deep within my gut. Oh, this is so cute. So strange and weird. Also. And then Archibald. George! Celine! Upon hearing Archibald's sudden voice from the calm, I jumped up from suddenly propelling George from my lap. Yes, Captain. Panthera is up and running. Time for you to come back. Yes, sir. George frowned, but what for? I couldn't tell. He was so hard to read. Except for his seductive nature. Put your helmet back on, Celine. It's time to return. I returned the frown, but suited up nevertheless. George pushed a button on the artificial atmospheric replicator, and the whole bubble disappeared. I trudged back to the shuttle, desperately trying to make every last second count. We climbed into the egg and took our places. George once again found his way onto my shoulder. I placed my hand on George and pet him. Aw, thank you, George. This was the best birthday I've ever had. The ride home was mostly in silence. It was bittersweet, but we enjoyed each other's quiet company. When we landed, Archibald, Ronnie, and Taco all welcomed us back. How was it? It was sufficient. I'll never forget it for as long as I live. Did George put the moves on you? No, not at all. Yes, he did. We've been here too long already. Every cat on Falera is awaiting our return. All the cats understood and nodded in agreement. A moment, Captain. As you wish. George walked over to me, and I crouched down to be at eye level with him. He placed one paw on my shoulder, and I looked me in the eyes. Celine. The adventure we shared, I shan't forget it. He's such a, gigolo cat. I could feel tears well up in the corner of my eyes. It's not fair. I just met you, cat boyfriend. Why did it have to end like this? Why must we be separated? Through space and time, kitty cat. Why did it have to end at all? There was nothing for me here on Earth. Whoa. You would join all the cats? Celine, what are you going to do? You're going to be their, kitty mother? I didn't want to go back to being alone again, surrounded by cats. Oh, Celine's heaven. I wasn't going to let it happen. No. Take me with you. This time I'm taking life into my own hands. George. Let's make more adventures together. I'm coming with you. All the space cats look surprised. But we are two different species. How are we going to have kitties? To leave your home planet? You space cats are the first families I truly have. I have nothing here except Caesar. And I'm not giving that a hump. Can I come with you, please? Caesar, who was still lazily lying in the backyard, gave me an angry growl. Well, not without you, Caesar, don't worry. Meow. So Caesar understands. And of course you too, Caesar. I won't leave you behind. Are you willing to join us, knowing you might never return home? Of course. Damn right. Live with a bunch of cats in space. All your crazy technology advances. Yes, 1,000 times yes. Excellent. Oh, you're happy. What are you guys gonna do? Eat me? Oh, you run out of food or rations on your spaceship? You look tasty, Celine. You and Caesar will have to pull your weight around the ship and help out too, of course. I like plants. I can help with the plants. And I will give lots of kitty snuggles and kisses. Of course, Captain! Even though I'm useless on a spaceship. Well then, crew, what say you? All the space cats cheered. Woohoo! Hee! Yay! Meow! Never had I felt so welcomed, so loved. We leave as soon as you're ready. I just gotta grab Caesar and a couple of my plants and let's go. I clasped my hands together and nodded. I'm definitely going. Turning around, I quickly darted back to my room and began packing. I took only essentials, my favorite clothes, my favorite video game of all time, Oregon Trail, my Cats Before Flowers poster, Caesar's bow tie collar, and my childhood blanket. And don't forget your plants. And your fish. You have a fish too. I shoved it in my suitcase and named Toby and went to go meet my new crewmates. All four of them stood proudly in front of the Pantherian, smiling back at me. I happily scooped up Caesar in my arms. Meow. As I stepped inside Panthera, I looked back out at my backyard, my home, my earth, and said goodbye. So long. Look at her face. You just caused me lots of misery, planet Earth. I'm going home to be in cat heaven. Live long and prosper. Prosper. The end. The good end. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed that. So that's Space Cat Boyfriend, brought to you by Aine Schumann, Sarah Buck, and Amanda N. And that was quite a fun little game. Even though it didn't have any music, it was very well written, and I had lots of fun playing this, and it was a perfect adventure. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough. This is SecretDoorGaming. So I've linked the download link below if you want to try out this game yourself and try the other cat boyfriends. I know I'm going to. And I hope you hit that like button, and if you can support my channel, please subscribe. And everyone have a great day. Thanks again.